Welcome to the Zone. In the over 10-year wait for Stalker 2, very little information has been released about the story. The trailer that dropped last week has given us a bit more information about the current setting and some of the mechanics that'll be involved with the new game, and I'm excited to break it down for you. If you enjoy the video, feel free to like and subscribe for more Stalker-related content. Without further ado, let's dive in. The beginning of the trailer starts off with a slow burn, as a camera slowly makes its way down a corridor to a large steel door with the GSC Game World logo, as well as small text in the lower corner stating Made in Ukraine. While this is not a huge reveal or a massively important thing to point out, this is really in line with the other changes that GSC has made overall to the IP, as they're attempting to promote a more Ukrainian identity with branding and changing the spelling of names and places within the game. The door opens and we're met with our first real piece of information about the game itself. An ominous voice calling, "Come to me," is heard while the screen is black. We're met with a group of stalkers being disarmed by what appears to be a monolith soldier who easily dispatches 3 targets in hand-to-hand combat. Right off the bat, I can say it was super weird to hear that phrase in English. For those that don't know, "Come to me" is the English translation of the line that the Wish Granter psychically emanates to its victims, beckoning the stalkers hearing it to unknowingly fall into its deadly trap.
Твоя цель здесь. Иди ко мне.
Another thing that could catch any veteran of the series off guard is that the Wish Granter and the Sea Consciousness were both destroyed. Seeing a monolithian on screen as well raises some questions that can't really be answered too easily. How long has it been since the events of Call of Pripyat? How many other monolithians survived? Where's this voice coming from? All of these are questions that we won't have answers to until launch, but I think it's safe to say we will find out, and it's going to be great. As the trailer progresses, we hear English voices again, which, while not surprising, is very jarring to someone who played the original games. What's also jarring as well is that the English that we do hear in the game does not have Russian accents attached to it. It's very much American or English sounding. We're then given the overall backstory of the setting, which describes how the group carried out its experiments in altering the consciousness of humanity via the noosphere. It's also not known who is talking at this time, but the person obviously knows the history of the zone, history that has generally been considered closely guarded and secret before. How does this person know about the noosphere research? To me, this shows that either knowledge of the true nature of the zone has become very widespread, or that this person was close to the original events of Shadow of Chernobyl or Call of Pripyat. I would imagine that we'll see that this person is a character that we've seen before in previous titles. On the other hand, it could be entirely possible that this character is somebody who we haven't seen before, and he simply has knowledge that other people do not. In between the dialogue, we see gameplay footage that really shows off the new engine, and let's just dive into that for a moment. It certainly looks like this game is going to be a bit more fast-paced than the previous titles. While we still have anomalies, artifacts, and gunplay, this is certainly a different experience, which is to be expected. It could simply be that the way the footage is cut, it seems a little bit faster than what we're used to, but it's something that I noticed. I was also very curious about the way the game would have us manage our inventory and gear, and I was very pleased to see that the inventory and loot screens that popped up at the 1 minute 45 second mark in the trailer look very similar, and I'm actually very happy about those. My first actual impression of the gameplay in the trailer is that it's polished. Have you ever played a game a long time ago and you go back to it and replay it, and you find that the graphics don't look as good or the mechanics aren't as smooth as you remember? Well, this game honestly looks like what I remembered Stalker to look like before replaying it a few years ago. Graphics are by no means everything, and they don't determine how a game is or whether I enjoy it or not, but this is certainly icing on the cake, and I'm very happy about it. The last part of the trailer describes someone who died in an anomaly, was shot by loners, thrown off a cliff, and then torn apart by dogs. We're then met with a beautiful shot of the pods that the members of the Sea Consciousness used to reside in before they were destroyed by Strelic in Shadow of Chernobyl. It's unclear if the machine is operational from the trailer, but it looks like the lights are slowly flickering on, as if it's powering up after a long slumber, We then hear a blind man with a stone around his neck give us an ominous warning. You cannot kill God, just like you cannot get rid of the sky up above. I'm blind, but it's you who cannot see. This final part of the trailer is honestly the most compelling to me from a story perspective. This blind man, if it's true that he actually died in an anomaly, was shot, thrown off a cliff, and mauled by mutant dogs, is something certainly special. His voice line starting right when the sea consciousness machine begins to wake up is beautiful but also telling. This man seems to be conflating the sea consciousness with God or a god, and further tells us that it cannot be killed. Noosphere manipulation may have somehow preserved the lives of the sea consciousness group members, and they're still manipulating the zone to their own end. The object around the man's neck, referred to as a stone, is also compelling. One of the viewers who is a member of my Discord server pointed out that while we don't actually know what the stone is, like I said, it could be an artifact or some kind of memento, Sheldrake had a great idea. What if it's a piece of the Wish Granter itself? What if this man is being influenced by the last remnants of the sea consciousness? It would explain his cult-like speech, and it would also explain the voice that we heard in the beginning of the trailer. Somehow the Wish Granter is still functional in some capacity. Given the information that we have from the trailer, it seems that we can put together a few things from just a lore perspective. First, Monolith is not gone. There are still operatives moving throughout the zone. And we also know that it's possible the sea consciousness isn't destroyed after all. They're simply diminished or just not in the place of power that they once were, but there are elements of it still in our world. Second, the zone has not changed that much. It's still a place packed full of physics-breaking anomalies, artifacts, and mutants. We still don't know if the zone has expanded or if it's even possibly contracted, but we know that the zone will roughly look the same. Thirdly, we still know that brave men still traverse the zone, and we'll have a great story ahead of us. Thanks for watching, guys. What are some of your thoughts about the trailer? Did you think I missed anything or left anything out? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to check out our Discord server as well. And until next time, I'll see you in the zone. This video was made possible by patrons like you.